Join Tiny Tales Paradise for Emily and the Red Gem, a moving bedtime story for kids. This educational kids' story teaches confidence and courage through colorful animations and a warm narration. Perfect for bedtime or classroom learning. Subscribe for weekly fairy tales and moral stories. Emily and the Red Gem. Chapter 1. The Girl in the Castle. In a lush valley cradled by misty mountains, there stood a grand castle with ivy-covered walls and golden spires that sparkled in the sunlight. This was the home of Count Frederick and his kind-hearted wife, Lady Margaret, who were beloved by the people of Verdant Vale. Their daughter, Emily, was a 12-year-old girl with eyes like sapphires and a laugh that once echoed through the castle's halls. But now, those halls were quiet, for Emily had changed. 2 years ago, Emily had been running down the castle's winding staircase, chasing a butterfly that had fluttered inside. In her excitement, she tripped and fell, tumbling down the stone steps. The accident left her legs unable to move as they once did. And though she could walk slowly with a cane, she felt unsteady and different. The people of Verdant Vale, who had once cheered for her at festivals, now stared with curious or pitying eyes whenever she ventured outside. Their whispers and glances made Emily's cheeks burn with shame. So she decided to stay inside the castle. Locking herself in her room, Emily's room was a beautiful place, with soft velvet curtains, shelves of books, and a wide window overlooking the valley. But it felt like a cage. She refused to see anyone, not even her parents' friends or the castle staff. Every meal, Lady Margaret would leave a tray of food outside Emily's door, warm soup, fresh bread, or her favorite blueberry tarts. She'd knock gently and say, "Emily, my love, your dinner's here." But Emily would wait until her mother's footsteps faded before opening the door. Lady Margaret tried everything to cheer her daughter. She brought musicians to play under Emily's window, sent up paints and canvases, and even offered to host a grand party. But Emily would only say, "I'm fine, Mother. I just want to be alone." Her heart ached, not just from her legs, but from the loneliness that grew inside her. Emily's only friends were the sparrows that perched on her windowsill. Every morning, they'd chirp and flutter, bringing her stories of the world outside. One sparrow, a tiny bird with a speckled chest she named Pip, was her favorite. "Tell me about the village, Pip," Emily would say, crumbling bits of bread to share. Pip would chirp about children playing by the brook, farmers selling apples, or clouds shaped like dragons. In return, Emily gave the sparrows crumbs from her meals, and their chatter became her only comfort. Chapter 2. The Tale of the Red Gem. One crisp autumn morning, as golden leaves swirled outside Emily's window, Pip arrived with a new story. "Chirp, chirp," he sang, hopping excitedly. "There's a tale in the wind, Emily, a red gem in a cave on the tallest mountain, Mount Solace. They say its owner gets one wish, any wish." Emily's eyes widened. "A wish," she whispered. Her heart raced as she imagined walking freely again, running through the meadows, or dancing at a festival without anyone staring. "Is it true?" "Pip," Pip tilted his head. "The sparrows sing of it, and sparrows don't lie, but the mountain is far, and the path is tricky." Emily gazed out at Mount Solace, its peak hidden in clouds. The idea of a wish-granting gem seemed like a fairy tale, but it sparked something in her, a spark of hope she hadn't felt since the accident. "If I could find that gem," she thought, Maybe I could be whole again. That night, as the castle slept, Emily made a decision. She couldn't stay locked in her room forever, dreaming of a life she'd lost. She would find the red gem, no matter how hard the journey. She packed a small bag with bread, an apple, a water flask, and her warmest cloak. She wrote a note for her parents, "Dear Mother and Father, I've gone to find something to make me better. Please don't worry. I'll be back soon. Love, Emily." She tucked her cane under her arm and, for the first time in years, slipped out of the castle under the moonlight. Chapter 3. The journey begins. The path to Mount Solace was steep and winding, lined with gnarled trees and slippery stones. Emily moved slowly, her cane tapping the ground, her legs aching with every step. The cool night air stung her cheeks, but the stars above twinkled like tiny lanterns, urging her on. Pip and a few sparrows fluttered overhead, chirping encouragement. By dawn, Emily was exhausted. She sat on a mossy rock to rest, her legs trembling. "This is harder than I thought," she admitted, nibbling her bread. Pip landed beside her, tilting his head. "Chirp. You're brave. Emily, keep going." As she rested, she heard a rustle in the bushes. A small, scruffy boy emerged, carrying a basket of mushrooms. He was about her age, with tangled brown hair and patched clothes. "Who are you?" he asked, eyeing her cane. "I'm Emily," she said, straightening up. "I'm going to Mount Solace to find the red gem." The boy's eyes widened. "The wish gem. I'm going there too. I'm Toby, from Willow Hamlet. My ma's bread oven broke, and we can't afford a new one. If I get that gem, I'll wish for money to fix it." Emily hesitated. She hadn't planned on company, but Toby's friendly grin made her feel less alone. "Want to go together?" she asked. Toby nodded eagerly. "Sure, I know these woods. I'll help you, and you can share some of that bread." They set off together, Toby pointing out safe paths and Emily sharing her food. Her legs slowed them down, but Toby didn't complain. Instead, he told stories of his village, where his mother baked the best bread in the valley. "When we get the gem," he said, "I'll wish for a new oven, and Ma can bake again." "What'll you wish for?" Emily looked at her cane. "I want my legs to work like they used to," she said softly. Toby nodded, understanding. "That's a good wish. We'll find that gem. Emily, you'll see." Chapter 4. The River Challenge. By midday, Emily and Toby reached a wide, rushing river that blocked the path to Mount Solace. Its waters sparkled, but the current was swift, and there was no bridge in sight. Emily's heart sank. "How do we cross this?" she asked, gripping her cane. Toby scratched his head. "Maybe we can find a shallow spot." As they searched, a girl's voice called out, "Need help?" A girl with braided hair and a fishing net appeared, carrying a small wooden raft. "I'm Mara," she said. "I fish here every day. My raft can carry you across, but it's small, so we'll need to work together." Emily was nervous, her legs made balancing tricky, but Mara's confident smile gave her courage. They pushed the raft into the water, and Toby held it steady while Mara helped Emily climb aboard. The raft wobbled, and Emily clutched the edges, but Mara rowed with strong, steady strokes. Toby pushed from behind, and together they crossed the river, laughing as water splashed their faces. On the other side, Mara joined them. "I heard about the red gem," she said. "I want to wish for a new fishing boat for my paw. Mind if I come along?" Emily and Toby welcomed her, and the three continued up the mountain. Mara's cheerful chatter and Toby's stories kept Emily's spirits high. Even when her legs ached, the sparrows, led by Pip, flew above, chirping warnings about loose rocks or steep drops. Chapter 5. The Forest of Whispers. As the trio climbed higher, they entered a dense forest where the trees seemed to whisper secrets. The air grew chilly, and shadows danced on the path. Emily's cane slipped on a root, and she stumbled. But Toby caught her arm. "You okay?" he asked. Emily nodded, embarrassed. "I'm slowing you down." "No way," Mara said. "We're a team. Teams stick together." Suddenly, they heard a soft whimper. In a clearing, a small fox was tangled in vines. Its paw caught. Emily's heart went out to it. "We have to help," she said. Mara carefully untangled the vines while Toby held the fox still. Emily spoke softly to calm it, and soon the fox was free, licking her hand in thanks. "I'll call you Flicker," Emily said, smiling. The fox followed them, its bushy tail swishing. The forest grew darker, and the path narrowed. Emily's legs ached more than ever, but her new friends kept her going. Mara shared fish she'd caught, and Toby found sweet berries. Flicker darted ahead, sniffing out safe routes, and Pip's chirps guided them through the gloom. Emily realized she wasn't alone anymore. She had a team, and that made the journey feel lighter. Chapter 6. The Cave of Wonders. By the third day, the trio reached the base of Mount Solace's peak. A dark cave loomed before them, its entrance framed by jagged rocks. "This must be it," Toby said, his voice trembling with excitement. Emily's heart pounded. The cave looked daunting, and her legs felt weak, but she thought of her wish and took a deep breath. "Let's go," she said. Inside, the cave was cool and quiet, with walls that glittered like stars. A narrow path led to a glowing red gem on a stone pedestal, its light casting ruby shadows. The red gem. Mara gasped, but as they approached, the ground rumbled, rocks fell, blocking the path behind them. "We're trapped," Toby cried. Emily's mind raced. "We can't panic," she said. "Look for another way out." Flicker sniffed the walls, and Pip flew ahead, chirping. The sparrows found a small tunnel hidden behind a boulder. It was tight, but Mara pushed the boulder aside, and they crawled through, Emily moving carefully with her cane. At last, they reached the gem. It was warm to the touch, pulsing with light. Emily picked it up, feeling its power. "One wish," she whispered. She closed her eyes, imagining running through the valley, free and strong. But then she looked at Toby, whose mother needed a new oven to feed their village, and Mara, whose father relied on fishing. Emily thought of her own parents, who loved her no matter how she walked. She realized her wish wasn't just about her legs. It was about being part of something bigger. "Toby," she said, holding out the gem. "You take it? Your ma needs it more." Toby's eyes widened. "But Emily, your legs, I'll find another way," she said, smiling. "Your village needs bread. Take it." Toby hesitated, then hugged her tightly. "You're the best, Emily." Chapter 7. The Way Home. The cave rumbled again, but Flicker led them to another exit. They emerged into sunlight, tired and dirty, but triumphant. Toby clutched the gem, promising to use its wish wisely. Mara hugged Emily, saying, "You're braver than anyone I know." Emily, Toby, Mara, Flicker, and the sparrows trekked back to Verdant Vale. The journey was easier downhill, but Emily's legs grew weaker. When they reached the valley, a search party led by Count Frederick found them. "Emily," he cried, scooping her up. "We were so worried." At the castle, Lady Margaret wept with relief, hugging Emily tightly. "You're safe, my love." Emily told them about the gem, her friends, and her choice. Her parents listened, proud and amazed. "You gave up your wish?" Lady Margaret asked. Emily nodded. "I wanted to help Toby, and I'm not alone anymore. I have friends." A few weeks later, a doctor from a distant city visited the castle. He was an expert in helping people walk again, and with exercises and a special brace, he helped Emily regain strength in her legs. She couldn't run yet, but she could walk without her cane, her steps steadier each day. Chapter 8, A Happier. Emily's life changed after her adventure. She no longer hid in her room. Instead, she opened her window wide, welcoming the sparrows and their stories. She visited the village, where Toby's mother baked bread in a new oven, thanks to the gem's wish. Mara's father got a new boat, and she invited Emily to fish with her. Flicker became a regular visitor, curling up by Emily's fireplace. Emily learned that happiness wasn't just about walking. It was about friendship, kindness, and being part of a community. She helped in the castle gardens, read stories to village children, and even joined festivals, her laughter ringing out once more. One evening, as she sat with her parents, Pip perched on her shoulder. "I used to think I needed a wish to be happy," Emily said. "But I found something better, friends, and a purpose." Count Frederick smiled. "You've always been strong, Emily. You just needed to see it." Lady Margaret hugged her. "We're so proud of you." As the stars twinkled over Verdant Vale, Emily looked out at the mountains, knowing she was no longer the girl in the castle. She was Emily, brave and kind, ready for any adventure life brought. The lesson. Emily's journey taught her that true happiness comes from caring for others and building connections, not just from fixing what's broken. By choosing to help her friend Toby instead of keeping the red gem for herself, she learned that kindness and selflessness can open doors to new friendships and unexpected solutions. Her adventure showed that courage isn't about being perfect, it's about facing challenges, even when they're hard, and trusting that you're never alone when you have a community. Emily's story reminds us to be kind, to value our friends, and to face life's difficulties with a brave heart, knowing that hope and help can come from the most unexpected places. The end.